Today we got the feature premiere for MLB The Show 25's Road to the Show. Earlier in the week we got the deep dive where they talked about some of the stuff, but today they went into a little bit more depth into everything that is going to be in the Road to the Show mode. So we're not going to sit here and dilly-dally, we're going to get right into everything for you guys. The first and major thing that they talked about were the amateur years, which are going to include both college and high school. You're first going to start off in your senior year of high school, and you're going to be going into one of 4 high schools depending on where you say that you were born. You'll be going either into the West, the Central, the East, or the Northeast. Like they have mentioned before, we're going to have metal bats and chain link fences. There's also going to be bigger celebrations going around the bases and scoring and doing a whole bunch of different things. In the game mode itself, you're going to be getting bigger celebrations. Now, they did mention this later on, but I'm going to mention it here just for all those who are interested and want to know. Just about every single thing that you see in the high school experience and the college experience are going to be stuck in Road to the Show specifically. The metal bats, the chain link fences, the actual parks themselves, the jerseys, anything that is specifically in college or high school will be in this mode, and you will not see it anywhere else like Diamond Dynasty or potentially Quick Play. That is more or less the way that they worded it, so do not expect to see anything here like the metal bats or the jerseys or the parks anywhere else. However, after you finish your high school experience, you're going to be scouts coming up to you from different colleges trying to get you to go into their college program. Before you decide if you want to go to college or go to the pro leagues, you'll have the chance to go through the combine to boost yourself up even more. So whether you choose to go to the combine or whether you decide to skip the combine, after that it will be the draft. You will decide there which college you would like to go to, and then you will get drafted by a team. After you get drafted by the team, you will decide whether you're going to actually fully commit to going to the college or if you would like to just say no and go to the team that you have been selected to go to. If you decide to go to the pros right away, you'll be able to join the minor leagues at age 18. If you decide to go to college, you will not be able to be drafted again until you're 21. Everything in the college experience will take place 3 years later, which is why you won't be able to be drafted again until you're 21. And you'll play at least 3 games in college, with the chance of being able to play the 4th one if you happen to win the semifinals. Also, if you choose to go to college, you will be able to get 1 perk that you choose depending on which college you go to, and some equipment. While we're on the topic of the perks and equipment, they're going to be working a little bit differently in this game. Perks in MLB The Show 25 are things where you're able to more or less boost them up instead of just straight up using them. Now, they didn't necessarily say or specify how you're going to be able to get more quirks or when or anything along those lines other than your first one potentially. But when you do get a perk and when you activate it, you'll be able to spend tokens, which we'll talk about in just a moment, to be able to upgrade it in different ways. You can either choose to improve the target timing of when the perks actually occur, or you can choose to increase the effect of the perk. You'll be given the choices to determine which you would like to do in 4 different stages. So if you have a perk that only activates if there are 2 outs, you could potentially make it to where it activates at any point. There doesn't need to be a specific amount of outs. If you have a perk that only activates if you're in the 7th inning or later, there might be a chance where you can make it the 5th inning or later, or you can keep building on it, who knows? But on the other side, if you want to increase the effect of the perk, say you have a perk that gives you a 10% increase on your exit velocity, well then if you decide to do that, you could potentially make it 20% and then potentially up to 30%. These are all decisions that you can make on your own discretion depending on the few options that they give you. However, they did say that at the very end of upgrading your perk, you'll have that chance of being able to have a second effect for your quirk and maybe a couple extra things as well. Now, going back to the tokens, tokens are the way that you're going to be able to upgrade your attributes and the perks throughout your experience. For the attributes, you'll be able to either upgrade any specific stat individually, you'll be able to increase all of them under a specific category like contact or power, fielding, running, all that jazz. Or they have some specific archetypes that you can upgrade in those if you would choose to do so. And I know some people have been wondering, but yes, you are able to upgrade your attributes up to 99 in each of the different categories. No longer are you going to be stuck at 50 because a so chooses to do so. Now, I probably should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we did get a little bit when it comes to the equipment as well. And the equipment in this game isn't going to give you, like in the past, where it was like you would get a +5 boost to your power and a +7 boost to your contact. Instead, what it's going to do is it's going to work on very specific things like the entirety of batting or the entirety of base running and give you a percentage boost instead. So if you happen to have a pretty decent bat, you might get a 2 to 3% boost in all of the batting attributes. That includes contact, power, vision, and I believe clutch as well. Also, for those who do like the dynamic challenges, to be able to either get on base, get a hit, or get an extra base hit, or get a home run, those are back. Apparently, they should be showing up in better opportunities for you in this game. Now, the thing is, and I think what most people have been wondering is what's going to happen and what are the options and the choices that you can make when you actually get into the minors or get into the majors and you're past year 2, year 3, or you get up to free agency. And they really didn't go into any details on any of that stuff. They didn't say anything about anything that happens after college and after you get drafted. So while the whole high school experience and the college experience is a nice ad, and I'm sure I will enjoy it, the fact that they didn't even say a single word about what happens after them does have me a little bit personally skeptical. So while we don't know, there is the slight chance that they are just holding out on a couple things and letting us be able to see them ourselves, but who knows, and I just hope that that is the case. So one last thing when it comes to Road to the Show specifically is that when you're playing and get to the end of the game, you'll have the chance to watch the final out and or participate in it, or just sim it like you've always been doing, since in the past, you never had that chance of watching the final out if you weren't actually involved in it. So they wanted to give you that opportunity to just watch it and be a part of the team and be a part of the end, which I do think is a cool addition, but it's something where am I really going to care that much about it? However, before we do end off, there was one thing that was technically shown off that I don't know if they necessarily meant to show off, but they still did, and it is that the inning programs that were in Diamond Dynasty previously are back. So when we actually do get the Diamond Dynasty stream or the live content stream or whichever one they plan on mentioning it in, we'll get more information about that and I'm sure other things as well. But that is everything when it comes to the Road to the Show in MLB The Show 25 that they were talking about. There are some things that I personally am still skeptical about, and I'm sure that some of you are still skeptical about. But I still think it is an improvement as to the Road to the Shows of the past few years. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys back next week for franchise, March to October, and storylines.